Hello and welcome to UniVerse Touch. Here, week after week, we shape a completely new narrative for businesses and for the world. Here, you're invited to be both spiritual and wealthy, care for the world, and create an extraordinary life for yourself. This I'm very excited because I'm sure you get the deepest truths behind the Universe Club, which I haven't done before. I only realized this. And today we're going to go into this duality that we are holding ourselves high into, which is spirituality and business. I keep receiving the same questions. How do you combine spirituality with business? How is it even possible? How do you do balance between wealth, material, and spiritual wealth? And the ways we're implementing that are quite conventional. It's really worth understanding why we're acting like that. Because every step we take, it's coming from a very deep realization of both where are we in the collective right now and what does the collective need to progress even further. And also how the patterns that I am able to identify in the collective can be represented in each one of us. And what has happened to us when we are able to block. So for a little bit of context, I'm a person who has been able since young to see across patterns. That means that I have been entering different fields. I remember to have a lot of different groups of friends, for example, when I was really young. Then I was able to have both university and paid jobs and mentors. Then I was able to travel and be around the world, living in more than one countries. So I was had multiple fields happening around me. And the main reason for that is that I was able to see the common threads in fields that seemed very relevant. I keep laughing with my reality right now because it happens the same. Every morning, I'm a very happy auntie being with two tiny little human beings, a 1.5 year old, need to be present with them, need to really attend somebody who's not able to express yet. And then later, I move into my business persona, where I still need to attend needs and desires that we are sometimes not able to phrase, but with highly achieved individuals who have gone through a whole life, and yet some of the aspects of our lives are more difficult for us to apply. So, funnily enough, it's still happening the same. I'm able to make patterns that go across age, across culture, across industries, which are business. Because deep inside, we are just humans, and there are few aspects of us that are the same. Since the day we're born until the day we die, and then so let me guide you into the spiritual narrative of the Universe Club. One of the questions I always receive, and is very understandable, is how do you apply spirituality inside the universe? And this question is fundamental for us. Over the course of my life, I have gone into several energy, shamanic, and hidden practices. I am a practitioner of many. I use them for myself and more for my private clients. And I've realized that it actually doesn't matter which you're using. For some people, for example, breath work is their gateway, their gateway. They just love it. It's the thing that made them cross through the portal. They believe everybody is supposed to do it. For myself, for example, that I am a very air and ether human being. While I love breath work, when I get myself to do it, it can also disembody me and disassociate me with the material reality. So instead, for example, I truly love Kundalini because Kundalini is matching the, the Bible that I'm bringing to the world about being both in the spiritual but also in the body. So, is there any practice that is good or bad? No, not really. Any practice can be both an incredible tool, but also a distraction. So, when I'm working with somebody and I want to see what will support them to go further and deeper in their spiritual journey, it's not about how many hours do you meditate, as if meditation was like the solution for everything. I actually try to see if the way they are doing it is because it's the comfort zone or is because it's pushing them through. If it's pushing them through, it can literally uh, it can be drinking water that is your ritual, and you do it with so much attention, with so much care, that you transform your entire being every time you drink water. So that's the reason we are agnostic in the universe about particular practice. For many of our people, business is a spiritual path, for myself included. It is the one that's showing us our shadows. It's the one that's showing us where we need to become better. It's the one that is showing us where are we less, how can we connect further where we are. I know it's counterintuitive, but the tool doesn't really matter. How you do it and why you do it does. So we tend to go through the tools into the meditation, and into the resonance, into practically the energetics. Does that feel like it's making progress? Does that feel right for you? Is it resonant to who you are saying that you are? Do you say that you're going to become? You love your own type of meditation. Shamanic, I have done shamanic work. I have done different types of meditations, different types of energy works, different types of readings, cards, rules. I have so many tools in my hands. Do I use them all the time? No, I use them differently for every client. I believe it's exactly the same for each one of us. So our spiritual narrative, it's not based on a particular lineage. Very good reasons. The first one is the one I just expressed. I don't believe there's one tool that fits all. You can find your own tool. And I also believe that the tools keep progressing. There's new versions of old practices. I deeply respect the long lineages, for example, of plant medicine. There's also incredible new versions. So why stay stuck in only one version? We invite it all, as long as the energetics are correct. So, energetics before the tool is what. And then we invite each one of you to actually share practices that you might have found along the way. And that's extremely exciting because most of the people who find us, they're very advanced, both in business and in spirituality. So it becomes a type of a mastermind to be around others who are discovering and progressing the tools that they have in their hands. And I personally love that. Every time I'm surprised by somebody bringing a new practice into the table that I didn't even know. And it fits perfectly for the group, it's perfectly for them. And we can expand that. That's the whole point in the universe. In the universe club, you're not coming to be told something. You have already taken yourself, led yourself through an entire initiatory path, both in business and in life. You're coming here to be around others who are doing the same. We're not teaching you something. We're allowing you to be who you are fully so you can unlock your next steps. So during our experiences, the spiritual narrative that we apply is very simple and extremely difficult to apply. We have only two rules. You have to be fully present and you have to be fully yourself. You know that these two rules, when you look at them as two bullet points, they might sound very easy to do. And they are not. They're not difficult to do, but they're difficult to maintain. And there's layers and layers of it. The reason I've chosen these two and only rules is because being fully present, it is the doorway into manifestation, into who you are, into clarity, into collective intelligence, into tapping into the magic, prototyping, and showcasing the universe. There is no way on earth I could ever make you become multidimensional, create the incredible results that tend to happen after the experiences, connect you with others, unless you're fully in the moment with the person in front of you, sharing deep truths, when you're fully present. It's the only way. And it's very interesting to observe that while we are able to maintain presence for a couple of minutes, maximum hours, maintaining this level of awareness and presence for the environment, for the group, and for yourself for 48 hours and a little bit more that usually are our experiences, it requires high levels of spiritual attunement. So it's a very advanced tool, a very simple package. And it's also very personal because each person knows when they're present, when they're not. It's only about them deciding that they want to do that that's the portal, that I am here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, point. And from there starts all the magic. This agreement has been one that I love the most because it created so many questions and so much resistance in the beginning. Bear in mind that most of our participants are big entrepreneurs, business owners, investors. So there's several things running in the background. And no matter how much they prepare to be able to have 48 hours completely free, no distractions, no meetings, no phone, ideally, there is always a question mark. Can I allow myself for 48 hours to be fully where I am? Well, the things I have been building for so long break. Is it possible? I haven't done it for years. Many of our people haven't done it for years before, not even for their families. And they're required to do that when they come to UniVerse experience. Yet, until now, I have never encountered somebody who didn't try to their maximum capacity to make it happen. And when they do, it's the true transformation. Realize that nothing breaks. They are able to be more present and more alive. Have never been in their lives. From this presence, they deepen who they are. And from this depth, they're actually progressing even more in their businesses as soon as they come out than if they were just constantly responding messages and being calls. So posing what seems to be impossible to do is actually making you 10x faster. And that's exactly why we ask it. When somebody's tapping into experiences, anyway, everything is optional. I'm talking with highly attuned, highly responsible human beings. And I don't like to treat them like children. You know what is good for you, and you are ready to take responsibility. That's what we suggest. If you want to get the best outcome, we suggest what you do want to. If for some reason you believe that that's not for you, it's absolutely perfect. You just take responsibility that you might have different results from the one that we are able to provide if you follow our agreements. Most people follow them and they're extremely happy that they do. I yet have an example of somebody who didn't until now, 2 years later after starting the first season of our UniVerse experiences. The second agreement is to be fully yourself. I do want to add more about be fully present. Something that is that most people don't understand that means that you are getting out of the space. Being fully present also means no references, no books, no stories that are irrelevant to what is happening in this particular moment in time. And this is, oh my God, like this is one of the sneakiest thoughts of our minds. Every time we are a little bit uncomfortable, we're a little bit afraid, we're a little bit not fully in ourselves, we tend to disassociate in a socially acceptable way by bringing in people who are not in space. So our mentors, our guides, the books we have read, they all tend to disappear to allow us to hide a little bit behind what might be uncomfortable, which is the full presence and connection for many of us. And every time that comes, I am there to remind you that was our moment. Because the moment you start talking to me about something that is irrelevant, the thread you have studied right now, you disrupt potentiality that we are building together. You disrupt the co-creation. It might look like you're sharing something interesting, but interesting is a game of the mind to not be there, aware, and manifesting at the same time. So also references, books, mentors, we kindly ask them to stay outside the space. There's already enough interest and incredible human beings inside the space to take care of. There's enough people to hear wisdom from. There's enough people to find ideas. You don't need external references when you are in one of our experiences. So these are the different layers of actually being fully present. So it goes from no phone to no meetings to being truly there, sitting up to be fully aware of yourself, understanding if you're tapping in and out, if you're playing around with your mind and your heart, and then also if you're bringing all types of masks, socially acceptable masks, to not be there. And you remove all of that. And then when all of that is moved, there is the second agreement that comes, and that's the being fully yourself. Another one that seems so cliche and so easy to do, right? It's not. And it's not especially in the field that we're working. We are a business retreat. We don't talk business, but business happens. That's who we are, that's what we claim, and that's what's happening through our field. And in business, traditionally, we have learned to behave, to put a mask, to put a profile, to be somebody, to have a title, hold that, not be who we are exactly. So there's great fear behind this well-established ways of doing business. And that's exactly what we're bringing into the global landscape. Space where you don't need to perform one way or another to make business happen. business does happen. Right now, we're in conversations with one of our participants, going full on investment, new venture, connecting 3 or 4 of the other participants to their platforms. It's getting big. It didn't come from talking business. That came from themselves talking actually about their fears and what hasn't worked in their life and their failures in their relationships. And we were able to see each other, especially between men, in their vulnerability, in things that they don't usually talk about. Then you say, I can actually trust this person because I have seen his worst. So I'm excited to see his best. Like, if that's your worst, I'm your best. I love that. That's how usually business relationships happen inside of you. Bring your full self and you say, that's it. That has been my spiritual journey. It has been deep, it has been profound, it has been humbling, it has been incredible, it has been all of it. And that's my business journey. It has been deep, it has been profound, it has been humbling, it has been incredible. That's me. And from all of that, I've learned 1, 2, 3, and I'm still struggling in 1, 2, 3. Because guess what? We all do. No matter how high you are, no matter what you've achieved, there's always something to feel incredible about and something that you're challenged from. And the more the levels grow, both in the spiritual level and in the business, the more the challenges grow. And we don't realize that. We see the headlines of other successful people and we think they're better than we are right now. We don't realize that there's similar headlines about ourselves and somebody else thinks they're finding them about us. Same chain. Everybody needs something. Everybody's struggling with something. Everybody's achieving something. Everybody knows something. Everybody's missing something. How many times can you be in a circle where all of that can be brought to the table without any? Every time I witness that, I feel so deeply blessed for the courage of people who are really well off. They don't really need to go and break themselves, tear themselves apart, and break them down into pieces. They're really well off. They have their families, their businesses, their fame, their money, their wealth. They decide that if I don't do that, what am I doing here? And they take all the parts that are not themselves out, and they allow themselves to be seen in front of strangers, in front of people they have known for so little. And the moment they're able to do that, and the deeper they're able to do that, funnily enough, the more results come to their lives. And they don't only come from the ones who have seen them this moment, they come from all parts of life because the universe heard you. I am becoming more of who I am. Sounds like incredible. There you go. Thanks for being courageous. So I get comments that after the experience, everything felt so much lighter, or invitations to keep coming from people that I haven't talked for so long come back to me, and I found a new relationship. There's all of these things that are just popping, like reality pops without effort. Why is it doesn't happen? Because you have become more of you unapologetically. Have allowed yourself to say, that's it. It's not perfect, but it's me. And stand and show that in front of others, and the others really connecting and resonating with you and seeing you in this light. All of a sudden, clarity starts coming. You remember who you are. You remember why you have all of these experiences in your lifetime. You remember what you're here to do, why you chose what you chose. It just becomes so clear again. So there's an inner spark that happens by following this simple agreement, being fully yourself. Simple, right? Not easy. And there's another flip aspect that also happens that I was only able to observe after I started doing it in my first experiences. So, I being through yourself, you see yourself the clearest light that exists. And at the same time, you show up sharing about your purpose, your passion, what you're creating in the world, who you are, from the most genuine place there is inside of you. And this becomes what I love to call the best business card. People remember you when you come from obligation but from passion. Sharing something not because you have to being paid, but because you love it so much you cannot not do it. Expressing the reasons why you're doing it. And seeing, allowing yourself to be seen that this is actually me. I call it XYZ business, but that's me. And you come in the front with this deep spiritual essence with your fire, you get embedded into other people's hearts, souls, and minds. So anytime they will need some of your gifts, you will be the first one to call. You have built the trust by truly being there with them and connecting. You have allowed yourself to be seen, and you're sharing who you are, what you're doing from that genuine place. There's nothing stronger than that. So in the next episode, we will actually we are based on the spiritual narrative, then moving to the business narrative. It is your foundation. The understandings I'm sharing with you today are what where we build upon. These principles go through all of our actions, the in-person experiences, the way we treat a private client, our investors, how we do coaching, how we do introductions, anything. How do we actually be in service? So when you enter the universe, you will see that we act a little bit differently than other businesses. And this is the reason why I believe that any simple act, any interaction, a message, a welcome message can become a breakthrough. Your boarding call can become a breakthrough. The way you do your payment and how much you pay can be a breakthrough. The counter that you choose to come and find it can be a major breakthrough. The introductions that you receive and how you act on the introductions can be a breakthrough. Even what you choose to offer as your meal during the experience can be a breakthrough. So we design this very subtle, very elaborate and curated experience that is in so many different layers, it's almost imperceptible because we want the club to feel as close to life as possible. So we are not doing retreats in the tradition exactly for this reason. We don't want to create this chasm, this gap. No, that happens here. And if you want, you can extend it, and that's your life. And you come back here and you do it with other people, and it's easier because everybody understands. And it's very expensive, right? And amazing. And that's why you come back. Then you can apply to your entire life because there's nothing that you couldn't apply if you wanted to beyond the experience of the work. This is the point. It's not about, you can only find that here. And if you're not with us, you will not be able to do that because you are killing yourself and you need to stay close. Seriously, I'm talking to people who have achieved so much, both inside and outside. Seriously, can I even believe they will not find a way to do it if they want to? Of course, but we make it more enjoyable, we make it together, we expand it. Because when it happens collectively, the results are just mind blowing and so effortless. Of course, you can do it on your own, but we'll just be more linear. So why not do it together? And also create incredible memories at the same time and expand potentiality that might be in your plans in 10 years and it happens effortlessly in the next year. Why not? You will do it anyway. If that's your path, you will do it anyway. I strongly believe that. I have zero doubt. Why not doing it in different directions? Why not establishing that as the way of doing business? If you love it, if I love it, everybody loves it. That's what we're doing. That's what we invite you in. It's literally shaping a new way of doing business beyond anything else. Right now, we're in a very interesting phase. We have completed the last UniVerse experience last May in France, and we are moving into the next one. The interesting threshold that we are finding ourselves at is that we have practically completed one cycle. These experiences, even though I was never openly announcing that, they have been giving me a pathway of the seven chakras. So, how do we do money? We see life from the first chakra, for the second chakra, from the third. So everybody sees life operates with money a little bit differently than somebody else. It has a lot to do with their chakras. So we completed the seven experience last May, and we are opening a new cycle. And I deeply feel that this new cycle needs to be a whole different level of service, devotion, transformation in our own unique way. So we're in conversation about something that you never seen. And the business event industry, in the retreat industry, just doesn't exist. We will be opening it in the next months, and yet, because we already start feeling that something is happening, something incredible is happening, I've decided to start pre-bookings. Pre-bookings practically mean that you know you're going to be with us, you sense the vibe that is growing, you feel it's right for you, and you have zero other information. So you book something in advance, and you don't know where it is, and you don't know when it is. And then, with other, you get informed about the place and the time. Of course, there is a clause that if for some reason, some very big reason, you really cannot make this date happen or this location, you can keep it credit for the next one, obviously. But I do believe that the right people will feel it, and it will be just perfect. It will fit right in your schedule, be exactly where you want it to be, and it will just feel seamless. Because that's how it usually is when we really tap into that. So if you have been thinking about this, and if you want to come in this experimental babbling phase that we cannot yet tell you what we're preparing, but you just trust us enough that it will be just the next level, please email me or contact me on social media as Aelia Kos, and I will guide you through the very simple process of pre-booking. Once you have pre-booked, practically your experience has started. It starts with your decision and your payment. As soon as you have done that, you have the entire time until the physical experience to allow to be in the vortex you're creating. start the transformation already from the moment you decide to in. So you have more time to actually be in the energy. You have more time to become part of your building. You have more time to embody it. So the moment that you step into with such precision, it will allow the entire field to expand. That's the reason for the pre-bookings. We're very happy to see it's coming in. As always, we have limited spots because we always use properties that go until 20 to be able to keep the privacy, and also to keep this very potent small circle create. Our experiences are always in nature, are always in pristine places, but their vibration is just so correct. But devotion is about service, it's about love, it's about alignment. It's always the same. We don't use beautiful, fancy, new retreat spaces. That's not the vibe of the club. We use spaces that have been decades of devotion. They're close to sacred science. They have a very grounded energy of transformation, not the airy, fluffy, that's what it means to be living from your purpose. That's how you build legacy. Enjoy. That's exactly your vibe. So they're always in very pristine properties that many times will also enable them to be transition hands into their next owners or to find people to enable parts of their business or to hold ceremonies of other practitioners. So they're really getting deeply involved with all the things that we work with. They're always short. So every weekend practically from Friday night to Monday, because everybody's super busy, but you don't need more time to get to the results. So short and sweet. It always feels like that. At about the 24 hours, it keeps happening with all the experiences. At about the 24 hours of it being, and it's like, how long have we been here? It feels like a week. Like, no, it's just a day. With full presence, you receive so much. It feels like a week. You can make memories for a month. You know, but it's still important. So you don't have to take time. You can still continue with your engagements almost without disruption. And that's the point, isn't it? It's it blends with who you already are. We're not trying to break, we're not trying to change you in ways that disrupt your entire life. That's not our field. It's just like a reminder of the world, nature, be dusty. Do you want to remember why you're putting massive amount of effort for your mission? Come join us. Are you ready to open a new step and you would like to open it with from the most aligned, pristine space? Come, leave everything behind. Because outdated, tap to the new you, open the new step. Are you seeking clarity? Are you seeking to be around other people who are embodying the same principles as you are? Spiritual and material wealth at the same time. That's who we are. So when you want to be around that, you're welcome to come. We do recurring experiences exactly for this reason. I have said that even for myself, that I tend to be in very clean, energetic environments, quite protected. I do need an energetic shower, as I call it, uh, 3 to 4 times. So that's why we do our experiences like 2, 3, or 4 times a year. Because I have seen that it doesn't matter if you come there once. You go back to the world and the vibration carries you for quite a long time, and then you start getting involved to the daily life. And depends how heavy was your field, it dusts you off. So you come here and you just take everything out. And you remember that's who we are, and that's why we're doing it recurring. So the pre-bookings will be either for this one or for the next one. So you can also choose which one you want to be. The most important is to actually start taking steps just from pure alignment, just knowing that that's your next step without even needing to check details. Because deep inside, that's where we're talking. So that was all for today. Thank you so much for being with me for the spiritual narrative of the Universe Club. Next, we're going to go into the business narrative. It is literally what we are proposing, as that's the way business can be in the future. So, here with me, or come and watch the recording after. It's a pleasure to be sharing all of these steps and wisdom and practices with you. If you enjoy them, please do comment, send me your insights, let me know what you think, what has enabled inside of you, questions, answers, all of it. Because it allows me to also deepen what I'm sharing with you and be able to fully grasp what we are doing and how this can be of service to the people that listen and join us. If you want to join us for the next Universe experience, please connect with me ideally on LinkedIn as Aelia Kos. Send me a DM, and then I will send you more details to really sense into it and ideally be with us in the next one. Thank you so much for being here. It has been a pleasure and an honor, and I'll see you next week.